Good morning, everybody. It's your, I would say, friendly neighborhood King Ray Vet, but I don't know if it's friendly anymore because I keep running into these idiots out there um, in the Substack land. But anyway, I thought to get on here this morning to say where do I want to start this? I'm in a deja vu situation right now, and it's very nostalgic because when I first started making, I'll say, talkies on YouTube, talking videos where I spoke. I made a few dancing videos before I ever got into the talking scene. and the and I there's a video out there on my channel talking about why I started making videos on YouTube. And basically it was, I'm a very talkative character on the internet with these. I type very, very fast. Something like 120 words per minute. So I can have multiple conversations firing off all the time. And it started on Fuckerbook. I call that place Fuckerbook because they stayed fucking with me over there on that platform. But anyway, it started off over there. And when I would share my videos onto that platform, I picked up a fan. I picked up a fan. And this lady, she could not get enough of my videos. And I had a lot of them out there. I don't know if she saw them all, but because I think I had been around 2 years and had made 2 years worth of videos. And I think she saw them all. And then she would whine to me, on that platform. She would whine to me that, I'm watching reruns. When you going to make another video? When you going to make another video? So I was inspired by that. I mean, there's nothing like wanting to be there's nothing like being needed in whatever community I choose to expose myself in. And I just wanted to please this young lady. I mean, I have no idea why why she liked my videos so much. I don't think I ever had a conversation with her about why. I just accepted the fact that she was my first fan and would bother me all the time to make a new video. When you gonna make a new one? When you gonna make a new one? So I kept my ear close to the ground to find out things that were going on that would inspire me to make them. So, and that was 2018, I believe, when I picked her up. Her name was Wanda, and I don't know if that's the name she uses on YouTube anymore. I mean, I've lost contact with so many people over there because uh, Fuckerbook decided to delete my account, my user account with my name associated with it. And my name was getting big and it was getting ready to explode. And they saw that. So they censored me. They kept messing with me for little stupid little things. And eventually they deleted my account and told me it was a permanent deletion and would not tell me why. And that spooked the hell out of, and I had a business there. The front end was on that platform. And it scared the hell out of I would call them constituents, but I wasn't a political figure. I was a social figure. And so I don't know I never gave a name to all those people that started following me over there and jumped inside of my group, jumped inside of my business as well. So, but it scared the shit out of them, you know, guilt by association. These white supremacists know how to spook people. They know how to make them think, ooh, if I hang out with this guy or hang out with this gal or hang out with this person, then they're going to do to me what they did to them. So it buried my business along with burying me, and they knew what they were doing. Anyway, I found Wanda over there, and so and then when the election happened, now I have been making YouTube videos on and off, not on a schedule, just when I felt inspired to do so. And but after the election, I completely stopped making them. I stopped making them for a whole year. Um, and the only explanation I have for that is that I was so um, taken aback, taken aback by the fact that we were going to be having to face this asshole we're facing now for a second time, that it was all I could do to survive. And I did not want to talk about my feelings because I was going here, there, everywhere. They were all messed up. And in fact, the day that of the election, I knew halfway through that he was going to win, because I saw the bullshit going on where he was behind, and then all of a sudden, in the swing states where they fucking cheated, he started pulling ahead. And I was like, ugh. And I saw the same thing in 2016 and knew halfway through that day that he was going to win. And all I could say is, oh my God, that motherfucker is going to win. And I shut it down in 2016, and I shut it down in 2024. And went into this funk where that day, that night, I don't know what I was reading. It was probably on Substack, but somebody mentioned The Handmaid's Tale. And I thought, okay, let me go look at the first episode of season 1. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. In fact, this looks and sounds a lot like what is beginning to happen in the United States with these white men. Not all white men. Don't even start that bullshit with me. I'm not saying all white men, but enough rich, white, powerful men that they've got women very, very frightened here. So anyway, I saw season 1, episode 1, and got hooked immediately. And I bought all the seasons that were available at the time, which I think were 4, and all of the seasons inside of The Handmaid's Tale. And I binged on that until I finished them all. So I was out of it from election night until 5 or 6 days later. And I was so disappointed. I don't remember feeling that disappointed in my entire life. And I have had some fucked up things happen to me in my life. Maybe because I went so hard in the paint for VP Harris. I'd never done that before. I mean, I've been voting for over 50 years, but I never went that hard in the paint for a politician. I just knew it was going to be death to the United States if we let that other motherfucker back in again. So I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? What's going to happen? Da-da-da-da-da. And my way of dealing with that was just to zone out on something else, which happened to be The Handmaid's Tale. Day and night, I watched that. And I developed a very, very bad case of insomnia that I still have to this day. Insomnia that has me up 24 hours, 30 hours, 36 hours in a row until I crash, which is making my sleep schedule all over the map. Really. Because I'm just so pissed. And I'm pissed and sad and worried and disappointed and all the negative emotions one can have, they are keeping me awake when I should be falling out, passing out. I'm on schedule right now. Let's see. Okay, no, I'm not. I'm not on schedule to be up for 24 hours, but it happens 2 to 3 times a week. So if you can imagine my schedule, the only things that are stable for me is my appointment with my therapist and my appointments every other week with my with a nurse at the VA for endocrinology stuff. So I said all that to say a young lady subscribed to me maybe this week, or maybe it was no, well, this week or last week. She subscribed to my Substack uh, channel, page, whatever we're calling that thing. And guess what? She sound exactly like Wanda. When are you gonna make another video? When are you gonna? Do you know when you're gonna schedule a live? Or do you know when you're gonna schedule another video? And I said, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry. I no, I don't, because I don't schedule these things." And I think she missed the videos or essay. I don't know if it's essay or video, where I said why I can't make these things more regularly at this point in time, because I have to focus in order to write my story. It is not easy writing about yourself. It's not easy doing these videos. I know for us who do them, we make it look easy, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing them, right? To put yourself out there, to have a voice, to use your voice, even if we're small and we don't got a gazillion subscribers and we're not famous and all that other stuff. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of something in order to make these videos. And but she's really excited since she found me, and just I can't remember. Oh, I should have had what she said in the background here, but she and somebody else recently said that I have a very powerful voice, and I have a very something about being powerful in the way that I talk, in the way that I speak. Even though I'm not really given very many specifics, or I'm not like other people who make videos on Substack. I don't talk about the current person did a this, that, and the other, dates, names, times, sources, all that kind of stuff that professionals do. I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy who's passionate, who has things to say, who's older, who's lived a lot of life. I mean, a lot of life. And I'm speak from the heart. And I think people are starving for that. I think that may be why these people come out of nowhere and say these things to me, because they don't get to see they get to see people ranting and raving, but do they really get to see people speaking from their heart, not scripted, not going out and doing tons of research, but just speaking truth to power, and speaking it in a passionate way, and speaking it in a way that resonates with people. I think there's something to be said about the way that I am. But I'm telling you, it gave me a real shot in the arm, and now I'm conflicted be, because when I do videos, I'm getting more views and likes and whatnot on my videos than I am what I write. So that's another thing. That's like, oh, okay. Well, when I do make enough headway with my story, with my book, Then when I come back into it more regularly, it looks like I'm going to have to make videos instead of write articles. And like I said, I don't know if you heard that when I first came on, but I kind of went, okay, here we go. It's game time. Um, I have to do that each and every time. I have to psych myself up to make these things. They're not. It's not as easy as it looks. Um, and I also have a habit. I'm one of these kinds of guys that I'll make eye contact with you, but then I'm looking around. I don't. I've seen people make videos and they keep their eye on the camera at all times. Um, I'm not one of those kind of guys. I have to really consciously say, "Uh-oh, you're doing that looking around thing," and I don't always catch that. So I will. I'll be looking around at whatever, bugs flying around here, dust, all sorts of things. But I've just never been that kind of guy that could just keep staring at something and never take my eyes off of it. Or eye contact with people too. I do the same thing in person, um, which kind of, there's studies out there about people who do that. Some people think it's a sign of dishonesty or insincerity. But then I found other articles that said no, some people, that's just how they look certain directions means certain things. Like if I look this way, it means something. If I look up this way, it means something. And that's just the way I've been forever. I don't know if that'll ever change or if I'll ever just always stare at the camera. I just don't do that. I had a look, my first black therapist was so fucking beautiful. I had a hard time looking at her while I was in my sessions because my brain was doing something like something terrible. So I would be looking around the room all the time. And the whole time I was with her, which was a couple of years or 2 or 3 years, I never told her that I thought she was beautiful. And she was a married lady with kids who would call in the middle of our sessions, even though she would tell them 1,000 times, don't call me unless it's an emergency. And of course, what do little kids know about that word, emergency? Everything's an emergency when you're a kid, right? I mean, but I respected her dedication to her children, which is why it didn't bother me that they were calling them in the middle of the session. But she was so damn fine. I was like, oh my God. And when our relationship ended, um, which is something that the fucking VA does that I hate, absolutely hate it. There is no time limit on your mental health. It's ongoing. Yet they have developed a fucking system where they think that what's going on with a person can be solved in X amount of time. And if they don't, oh, well, we're taking them from you. That is the worst thing. Anyway, that is something that has started happening about 9 years ago, 8 years ago. And it's not just the VA, it's the entire system has become a revolving door. And I don't know who they're talking to. They're talking to each other. Remember if I said blind leading the blind? These people are talking to each other about how things should be without realizing the impact on the patients. And they don't care. They've got shit stuck in their head and nobody to challenge them. And they make policy based on this bullshit in their head. Unrealistic stuff. Anyway, so I've got this fan who wants me to start making videos, and I feel so bad that I can't do it right now. I've made more videos than I thought I would ever make on Substack. I don't like this platform. It's too inflexible, and it just doesn't have enough bells and whistles inside of it yet because it's not been around for very long. And I suspect they have a small team of people. We don't know how many employees are working at Substack, let alone ones that are technical and working on the software. I do know that they are very slow to beef up the software for computers because everybody's focused on phones because they want phones to take over people's lives. They know people are too intimidated by computers to buy them. And so they're pushing the entire world into cell phone usage. And so they're neglecting people with computers and browsers. And they're just not working on it. You know, they'll create a new feature and then break something else and then take months to fix what they broke. That is the definition of not having a QA team. They don't have a proper QA anymore, and that's worldwide. They make things and they throw them out there and they let everybody else QA the shit. They let the end user QA the stuff, which is absolutely unacceptable when I was working in the industry. We had test suites, we had individual suites for our department. We had to do our own testing, and then they did a department-wide testing, and then they did a division-wide testing, and then they did a company-wide testing where all of the products were put together and were hammered. Then they had what we call beta users, a select group of people that would bang on the shit. You know, they put them in there, they pay them, you know, not a lot of money, but they would, because I used to be a beta tester, but they would pay you to bang on their software and try to break it. And then they would fix what was broken before they released the stuff to the world. You think they would take all that time now? They want stuff to move like yesterday, today. That's why they don't no longer are doing QA quality assurance on software. They just gonna slap it out there and, you know, everything be damned if it breaks something. Then they have to try to backtrack to figure out what they broke. It's just so, that's the word I'm looking for, inefficient way of doing things, but they don't fucking care. They own technology. Big mistake. It's like, who's going to tell the executives don't do shit like this? Nobody. In fact, Americans, we think we're powerless to do anything about anything. So we're letting these people get away with whatever they want to do. Anyway, I just thought I would share that about my video history. Oh, I forgot to say why I got involved in making YouTube videos. So I would talk to people very quickly, lots of different people, and people started saying, you know what, you should make videos. I was like, you mean where I talk? And they said, yeah, you should make videos. I said, okay. And I would tuck it in the back of my mind and keep on going. And then I'd be somewhere else on that platform and somebody would say it again. Man, you should make videos. Not only you should make videos, you should write a book. So, and I'm like, okay, two completely different people, different backgrounds, different parts of the country, different races were telling me to make videos. And I ignored it again. Then I was also going to meetings in the area. I was going to trans support meetings in the beginning of my transition. Those people, when I would share in the meetings, started saying the same thing. Why don't you make videos where you're talking? So after about the third, fourth, fifth time that people were saying that to me, completely different people who had no motive other than, I guess they liked the way I talked. I don't know. Saying this, I finally got the message. You know, God is speaking to me. He's telling me it's time to make videos. And I knew a little bit about making YouTube videos. I didn't know how to make speaking videos, so I had to use the internet to figure out how to do it. And I made videos where I was dancing, but that was I wasn't talking. And I had to, beef myself up to do it. Now, I am a certified public speaker for Landmark Worldwide, but that certification happened in 1993. 1993. And that's a long time ago. So I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't believe in myself until I started doing them. And in the very beginning, I was very soft spoken because I was nervous. I didn't know what I knew what I was talking about, but I wasn't proficient at making YouTube videos. But as time went on, um, I got more and more I found my voice. I found my voice using it on YouTube. And uh, so on my main channel, I have about 194 or 5 videos out there on that channel. I also have 3 other channels, but I don't really work on them, and the videos that are out there are old. And I've got one that I had made for my business channel. I had another one for my book channel when I announced that I was writing a book. And let me explain a little bit about what happened with that. Listen, I wrote half of my story up until the age of 30. And then I got writer's block when it came to writing about my mother's death. I was devastated about losing my mother. And something else happened at the same time, and I couldn't do it. So I started looking for a publisher, and at that time, and everything was shutting me down, shutting me down, shutting me down. Either that, or I found out that publishers were going out and literary agents were coming in. And let me tell you, the market is saturated with literary agent crooks, scam artists, people who, just want to take the money from your book, but make you do all of the work, including editing. And I was like, nah, we ain't doing things that way. And so years were going by, years were going by, years were going by. I could not find anybody to write this book. People were flaking out on me left and right. I did find some people that were going to help me finish the book, but not really. I needed a little hand holding. I needed to get through the fear I didn't tell them what it was. I didn't tell them that the death of my mother is where I stopped and couldn't go on. And by the time I got back around to pushing to find somebody else, and this happened like 6 or 7 times, and for at least 6 months each time, I finally said, you know what? Nobody's going to help me get over that particular hurdle. So maybe I should write a smaller book. And what should I write that about? I know, my transition. So I switched gears, and then my dad died. Um, which sent me on another loop. I can't tell you what it's like to lose a man who not only meant the world to me, but he meant the world to so many people, so many other people. And throughout my life, I had experienced that. I had people who, when they met me, they would start crying and they would want to touch me, and they thought his celebrity would rub off on them. And just all my adulthood, I have been experiencing that. And so when he passed, and I saw all of the outpouring of love, and I saw all these things that were people saying about him, it was rather devastating. And because I didn't have a real close relationship with my father for multiple reasons that will be talked about in this book that I'm going to publish. He was afraid to get close to me. And I won't say why right now. It was partially him and his phobias, and the other part was his wife, who was not my mother, as a second wife. So, you know what? I did not mean to make this video this long. I do that every time. But anyway, I've got work to do. I will come back and make more videos as time permits. And I got to admit, I like making them now. I just don't have the time, and I can't stick to a schedule. I make things in the middle of the night. Right now, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. That goes to show you I'm not on any kind of regular schedule with my body clock, you see. So that's another reason why I can't say, okay, this time every week I'm going to make videos. I may not be awake. I will not commit to that and then have to disappoint people by not even showing up. Besides, those are on the live front. There's two different kinds of videos that I can make on this platform. Live videos where I'm interacting with people, and just videos like this one where I make them and then I upload them. And I'm not interacting with anybody. So that's the deal. And I'm not going to say her name, but I just love you to pieces for giving me a, I guess maybe it does affect my self-esteem and my ego that you really, really, really want to hear from me. It's not often that people say that out loud. They may want to say it, but they don't. So whoever you are, I don't even know who you are. You got something special going on there where you let that come out of you. To me, I got your communication, and I'm going to do my best to be back here and start making videos for you. Not you and everybody else. Everybody else benefits from them, not just you. But you are the catalyst, and you are the one that got me to see that people like seeing me, listening to me more than they do me writing, which kind of sucks. Makes me a little worried about the shit I'm writing, but anyway. So that's the deal. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl, so I hope everybody, has fun with that. I'm the type of person that during Super Bowls, when I was younger, me and my woman would go to various places in California to go watch the Super Bowl, just to have fun and be around other people. But as I get older, they're pretty much, I watch them. I don't care who wins. Wait a minute, who is in the Super Bowl? See, I don't even know who's in it. The Patriots? Is it the Patriots? See, I don't know. I forgot. I have forgotten who won the championship games. That's terrible. But I'm going to be watching it just so that I can see this bunny character during halftime. I don't know anything about that guy. I did go out and look at some of the things he has said and some of his music, and he's wild. He is totally buck ass wild. The guy, I think he's going to put on a hell of a performance and make all the white supremacists go nuts. I'm pretty sure they want to boycott the Super Bowl just because he's doing the halftime show. But yeah, I want to see this bunny. Is it Bad Bunny? Is it anyway? The Hispanic guy, and not just for that is why I'm gonna watch it. So y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'm out of here.